Hello and welcome to ChrisMartin424 Confluence, and I'm campaigning for Hexarchy in Arkology with
Traveling.
And if you want to introduce yourself.
I am the creator. And I've been working on this project for a while, and we have a constitution, and people can read the constitution and figure out what they want to change, and then they can run for the Hexarchy, which is the council, the executive council, 6-person. And the top 6 candidates win, so there's probably a 95% chance that Chris is going to win, and then he can influence the system however he pleases.
And then, does our other friend want to introduce, or do you want to stay anonymous? Either way.
Oh, I'm Meridian, and I am a mere skeptic, and I am learning about the system.
Solid.
That's it.
Alright. Now, to start off, traveling. What would you say? Yeah, I'll have opening remarks, I guess. I should give opening remarks. Unless you have anything to start with the preface.
What are your concerns about the system, like budget shortfalls? I know we rely a lot on wealth taxes, and if we don't have rich people, then our output's going to be zero, or not zero, but low. And then the benefits are low, but there's really nothing you could do about that, right? The budget has to be balanced.
Yes, budget always has to be balanced. Looking at you, somebody.
So, Dusty was talking about his campaign, and he mentioned working for water and electric sustainability as a large public project.
Yes.
And I was thinking, the large public projects, they just decrease your benefits. So if you have your net benefits, your benefits go down. But what if we had it so they were separate? They were paid separately, so you're guaranteed to raise that money.
How so do you mean?
If you separate them from the individual balance, the balance of individuals, then that's a guaranteed income that you're generating for the large public projects, because you would need that money to move forward. Like, for example, a large public project would be like buying land. That would be like a initial one. And then that taxation would be laid upon everyone who owns property, because that's how the large public projects work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a property tax, but it's guaranteed.
Okay. And then we'd have to
Yeah,
end up
that was
paying
just
it
something I
off.
was thinking about.
It'd have to be productive. And I was thinking about this earlier. How about we encode into the Constitution the general things that you need for civilization to really exist in the first place and then function and flourish. I was thinking of, just for example, having loom, and since it's okay in New York and Ohio for specifically hempen production, we'd use that to make more clothes. Although we could also look into jute or pote plant and make hemp twine clothes. Those would be a little rough, but it'd be an option other than just cotton and whatever. And then also, if somebody has some sheep that they have or whatever, bring along, they could have a wool production output, and that would then add into the Arkology. That would pay their rent, would be the taxes. That would then, and we would, use that to clothe ourselves. That would then offset those costs from normally outside the Arkology. That would then also be able to be exported and generate revenue, and therefore, like I was saying, help pay the taxes of the Arkology more readily.
Yeah.
To always have some sort of plan to generate said at least value, absolute value, like food production, water collection and filtering. If need be, and there's somebody who really, really wants to, they can go for the livestock, but I'd have to be on the opposite side of the Arkology from that.
Yeah. Well, the goal is for it to be urban, so we could have some farmland, but I don't think it'll be connected.
I'd want to make it
institutionally.
urban.
Yeah, like Rurban. Rurban is good.
It's not suburban, it's not urban, it's not rural. It's like it's a hybrid of all three. But yeah, I'd want to make it. I also have some other ideas about integrating nature and the like into the design, so that even if the concrete goes away and the metal goes away, the structure will still be there. Few tricky ideas, but that'll be discussed at a later date. But that is another part of my campaign, is that to attempt to make a structure that is able to sustain past time, but that's far in after we've gotten there and in the planning phases.
So, what kind of changes do you want to see to the Constitution? Because that's going to be tomorrow too.
I want to see also maybe not so much changes to the Constitution itself as well, maybe minor changes to generate our own organ or organelles or bodies. These bodies would then act in certain interests. In this particular case, I would suggest we act toward the interest of... I'm sorry, outreach. Outreach. To act in the interest of outreach. To then garner more support, because that is the number one key thing, is getting the idea out there. It's an amazing idea. It's integral, though, to have networking and communication and understanding be given easily, if not conveyed, rather, shall we say. Conveyed more simply.
Yeah. I was thinking something to put your money into is yard signs.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, you can get yard signs for like $3 a piece.
Thank you. Yes. Also, on the focusing on revenue generation, I would also make sure that there is some more focus on enforcement training. It's very important to have those who would need to see to any, shall we say, disruptions be more fit physically to do any unduly needed work, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their phone probably died. Or they hit the wrong button. There. Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, my Discord skipped a little bit.
Happened. I am streaming, and while streaming, Here, let me turn this
Yeah,
off because it's probably screwing up the stream.
I could show people how to be an auditor
Mm-hmm.
on the website because auditors are have the ability to change the database, which is a very big responsibility. That's a lot of power to give to someone. Originally, people could change their own information, and I thought that was like just too too chaotic. So I locked it down, and now only auditors can change people's information.
Okay, very good. Um, Also,
But for the most part, right now, until we actually launch the system and people start paying taxes, your output's gonna be like $5 a month if people put money into the pot. There's a Bitcoin Cash address that's like the slush fund that distributes money every month automatically to everyone. So it's based on the payouts are based on the balance of that account.
huh. Okay, so then we could encode, say, NFT things that whenever they're moved around or traded, that sends a little piece of that to the slush fund. And it'd be in part of something that would be continuously traded.
We would have to build an NFT market.
No, it's already built. You just build a thing in it and you just put the code in it and it'd be like a paint program or whatever, something dumb. Something, maybe not something dumb, something useful. We'd actually try to have purpose. We wouldn't want to do just dumb things. Maybe at first to get it going and to get our chops, but no, we'd want to make sure that there's some kind of purpose to it. I always want to have purpose to things. That's another part of my campaigning. I always want to bring purpose and help fulfill said purpose. I'd try to imbue that more into the laws and, if need be, constitution of said Arkology governments. I would seek to try and make it more able to sustain itself, like I was saying, though, so that then it could more
Yeah.
easily populate and make more Arkology buildings until it is an actual city. To then have a proof of concept is the main idea. You
Would you
already
change
have.
any would you change any numbers in the tax base, the tax system?
That's to be determined. I need more information than I can give at the moment or have at the moment. In this particular case, at worst, it would be something like adjusting the all ends in one way or another up, unfortunately, at worst. But that would be at the beginning. They would then be set to drop off with certain conditions being met. Once it is fully sustainable would be one of those conditions. Once it reaches something to that magnitude and ability. Something to where I would encourage, like I was saying earlier, food production, water collection and or filtering, especially the filtering. It's very important to have clean water. I'd want to encode that into the laws that we cannot be putting chemicals in there. That has, if we do, it has to actually be filtered out. And then there's a nice little process where you resalinate it with, you know, just a little
How
bit.
about we have a policy where you get a free 10-pound bag of rice per month per family?
That'd be if we get into contact with somebody who makes rice.
You could just buy it wholesale.
True enough. But we gotta have the money first.
We're gonna be interfacing with the United States and the rest of the world. This isn't like complete isolation, dude.
Right, but I want to prepare for just in case. I like to always have that just in case. That's part of why I'm also working on the Arkology board game. The prototyping is almost complete for the end product. I just need to experiment a little more once the prototypes are more settled. Excuse me. But then I'll have that, and it'll be a fun little time. There'll be 2 board games, and then there will also be a, hopefully, Savage Worlds module for them as well, making for a total of 4 possible products of Arkology entertainment.
Cool.
What do you think of like Earthship homes? And what's the sustainability like?
There are multiple different types of Earthship homes, but if you're talking about things like the like teardrop camper and something to pull it, or if you're that's fine enough, but I feel that we have the technologies to invest in making them even better, but what they are is not too bad for what we have. They're very ingenious for the most part. And if you're talking about the earthworks, if you're talking about that, then I really, really aspire to make a sort of hybrid between what we have and what that is, the earthworks. And I feel our best examples are out in the Arizona desert, ruins of cities carved into the side of large mountains and mesas of rock.
Okay. Fair enough.
I like Earthships.
Yeah, well, I'm big on like sustainability, especially with any kind of filtering systems and managing all of that. Like, you want to be like as eco-friendly or like close to the earth as possible. I think that that's the most efficient way, as long as you're staying within nature's cycles. Like, it will give back, and it will expand it quicker.
Yes, yes, yes. That is exactly what I'm pushing for with my changes that I'd want to put on. We'd be very not like conservative in any one specific way, but we'd want to conserve the land that is feeding and watering us. We'd want to separate any industry off to its own and have it in a nice barrier area, and have any off-put pollutions either at least contained, if not transmuted into cleanliness, if that makes any sense of a sentence, which we do have the technologies now. Please see Malcolm Bindall's Thunderstorm Generator.
Okay. And what about you seem like you can put copper in the ground for your for growing your harvest and whatever. I forget what it's called.
Say again, sorry.
You could put copper in the ground to help the harvest, like, or what you're growing grow quicker and more abundant. You'll get better harvests out of doing that. It has a name, but I forget.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
And what about like free energy generators and
Yes,
other ways of frequency generators?
that would be part
What
of
about
what I'd want to make. I would at first have things like the flywheel generator, but then we'd have the bent spoke thing that, goes out, up, down, forward, then down, forward, up, and then out, and then it'd be on a bracket as an axle to a large metal contraption, and then there's springs that grab either side of it, and then they just keep going and going and going and going until it, and you do a ripcord on that, and it goes, and from the, all the spring action, it just keeps pulling and pushing itself for so much more longer than normal is the idea. Then we'd have just magnets on one side of the wheel, and then magnets on as a part of a collector, and then wires running off of that, and then in a series of the magnets, and then that difference would then output into those wires, and then we'd put that into an inverter or something of that nature. There's probably something I'm missing or forgetting, and then that inverter then converts that electricity and would put it into a battery. And so I'd also try to encode this, maybe not necessarily into the Constitution, but the study of it and electricity into, say, the laws, as also part of one of my alphabet soupy things that I want to do.
So the development council is the scientists. That's who you would want to nominate or elect. Not elect, but appoint. You appoint the development council, and then they could work on something like that. I was thinking, like, the big two issues are going to be, like, sewer and elevators, if we want to go with the high density route. But that's, like, probably, like, 5 years after we actually buy land. So we got a ways to go before we have to worry about the elevators.
Hence the stairs.
We could live with stairs for a little while.
Like ramps.
Yeah, I think we can handle building stairs.
Some ramps for e-vehicles and or if need be industrial repair equipment, but
You don't need vehicles on the second floor to begin with until you have an elevator.
not necessarily. You might need it to repair something.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then also I'd need to help codify OSHA into our stuff as well. I'd have to make that part of our things if we're going to be doing the actual building of it. We'd have to make sure that we got somebody who makes sure we're OSHA compliant. We'd have like at least 2 or 3 people going up and down the files or whatever. I'd probably be one of them, and yeah, we don't want to make sure we're not. Oh, we missed this little rule. Oh, you gotta have this pole right here and structure this way. Otherwise, it'll just not be OSHA compliant. That way, when we do go to present it and then get the actual estimate, it's the actual estimate and not missing any parts And then we'll be able to properly crowdfund more fully and readily, and then hopefully that turns over everything that we need to get turning over and make this train rolling.
Yeah. So I was thinking if we get a lot of people on the website, we could actually switch governance on the 250th anniversary, July 4th, 2026. And then we would actually start running the taxes and the budget. But biblically, we would need 144,000 people to do that before we could make the switch.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're at like probably 15. So we are 1/10,000th of the way there.
Like I said, outreach, outreach, outreach. And besides, we have an organization of over 100, though.
Yeah, yeah. And then the fact that we're distributed is a big problem. I don't know how to fix that. If we all lived in the same city, I think it would be a lot better.
Okay. That's probably not gonna happen so easily. It'll happen when the Arkology is happening. And then it'll most likely, honestly, happen a bit closer down, maybe Pennsylvania, Virginia area, unless people want to come to Ohio. Just because of how cheap land is over in, I think, Virginia, if I was told correctly. Certain areas. Maybe it's out west, and I'm wrong. But basically, we gotta look for where land is extra cheap, and the construction costs are still at the same basic level, because it's not too far out in the boonies. And then we build from there, and we make the Arkology city. But also, if we do go and build out in the west, we'd want to look for ruins of ancient city and build on top of them, because that's usually where the best ground for city tends to be.
My computer just crashed. I'm on mobile now.
Did you catch most of what I was saying?
I missed the last 20 seconds.
Basically, I was saying we would need to figure out where we would be going, because it might not necessarily be New York. It'd be somewhere where land is cheaper, like maybe Virginia or something. I don't know, maybe Virginia's too expensive. Maybe it's over out in the west. Maybe it's here in Ohio is the good middle ground. But the point is to find the right undeveloped land, and I'm thinking there will probably be multiple arcologies, but we'd have a main first one. And then from there, we would have different ways of generating income, and that would propel further construction and, of course, upkeep. And we'd also implement certain measures, like coating our structures in pine tar. We'd be hiring the best of the best when we do such structural work. We'd make sure that it stays for a long time.
Cha-ching. Yeah. Cha-ching. We would probably have to start with cob houses if we don't have a lot of capital. If we spend most of our capital on the land.
Right. And I had mentioned that.
Cob houses.
Are you saying something?
You could build a cob house for like $3,000.
You said that, or you didn't say that. But nice. What is a cob house?
It's basically molded clay. You shape clay with your hands.
Okay.
And then it has basically like logs for roofs, logs and planks. So logs are the support beams, and then planks go over the logs. And then you just cover that with a pond liner, and then you put like 3 inches of soil on the roof to protect the pond liner from UV radiation.
Okay.
And then you just add electricity and Wi-Fi, and you have a house basically.
Neat.
Except for plumbing and sewer is kind of tricky.
We'll figure it out. It is kind of tricky,
Yeah.
but so long as we have a generalized way for it to go. That's the main trick, is having a way for it to go, and making sure that way doesn't get clogged.
We might just have like one septic tank for the whole property.
Nah, we'd have at least 3. If it's as many people. Maybe 10. Personally, I would suggest we have a few different ways of disposing the waste. That way, if any one way breaks down, we have the other two. But we reserve one of them for certain, shall we say, diets. So that way, we're able to measure impacts of these different factors.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, for now, we just might be adjusting the Constitution for tomorrow. We're not going to worry about like land development just yet, for sure. It's a little too soon for that.
Oh no, I'm gonna be fast forwarding that and maybe getting something from, have you heard of The Way?
I have heard of The Way.
I've been to one of their concert things. It was interesting.
Oh, I thought you meant like the biblical phrase.
No, it's an organization, The Way International.
No, I've never heard of them.
It's a very strange thing, and I really don't want to get myself tangled up in people, but they have an actual plot of land, and I know somebody who was very interesting to them, shall we say. Maybe a few people. And if we have this plan going, maybe I could get a co-housing thing going out there. And if everybody's actually interested in it and wants to make it go, then that plan would snowball and become really hard to stop, because they would probably want to just do whatever these people wanted to keep them there. And so then they'd give us that land, and then we'd have a bit of land that we need to work with. Even if we got to build the Arkology underground, I don't care. That's fine. We'll work from there.
What do you mean underground?
Well, if they want to keep it to where, say, the trees and stuff are still there or whatever, I'd either build around or under them. And I'd have the first one maybe be subterranean, so we don't have to pour so much concrete. And we could just rely more on the rock and clay, like you were saying, and the steel structure itself, because that is the most important and sturdy part of the architecture.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna get a lot of headaches if we try to build underground.
Why?
And we're gonna run into a lot of problems trying to build underground.
What do you mean? What if there's already a
Like,
structure to build to?
like excavation, flooding, roof collapse, all problems.
Maybe. It all depends on how we do it and what's going on.
Trust me, it's easier to build up. That's why people build up.
I know. But I'm also, part of my campaign, I'm not afraid to try different things, especially things that could give us a unforeseen advantage.
Yeah, I think maybe like a solar array, sharing vehicles, that's a big one. And then the wholesale rice distribution, I think that would help us too. The name of the game is going to be keeping costs low. Or like we have to We have to keep costs lower than our income, and our income's probably going to be pretty low until we get like a few established businesses, you know?
Yes. And with the solar panels, I would even suggest we figure out how to make our own in a way. With, say, like a Fresnel lens, and then something that works more off of heat from the Fresnel lens concentrating the light into a heat beam that can melt a rock.
Yeah, you could make steam with it.
There's also some sort of way of inducting heat, not only just steam, but the difference in temperature between two metals can cause a magnetic charge or something, I think. Or
You're talking about a Stirling engine? That has to do with the heat differential.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've seen solar concentrators that use Stirling engine, and I think they're like 10 kilowatts or something. They're actually pretty impressive. It's like an alternative to photovoltaics.
What's up?
Howdy, we're streaming to YouTube right now. And
Cool.
it's my
Can I hear me? Or...
Yeah, they can hear you. And it's my
hello.
campaigning
Hello,
for
YouTube.
Arkology. Also, they say hey back probably.
Okay.
But it's my episode where I'm campaigning for Arkology Hexarchy.
Yeah, so give us one change you would make to the Constitution. The numbers.
Like I said, I wouldn't mess with the numbers themselves just yet. I need more of what's happening. I would focus more on how to get our numbers up, how to get our taxes to even happen, how to make those things. My changes would be more about instrumentation, and then we'd be able to do the calculation more easily. We'd then be able to audit it and see from the action side of things, responding more quickly.
Also, if it's a good culture, like you wouldn't, like if it's not too many people and it's a good culture, you wouldn't need laws. If anyone like steps out of line, you just kick them out. You know?
Yeah. We have a simplistic penal code. It's very simple.
Yeah. You break the rules, we send you to the moon.
Pretty much. Not quite, but yeah.
Well, Mars works too.
Mm-hmm.
Or just an island or continent like Australia.
Mm-hmm. Well, in any case, yes, we would look into the laws. And like I was saying, I would make sure our enforcement and medical and fire response are actually extant and at least vaguely funded.
Yeah, I don't think I have fire response yet. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably have to add that too.
Well, also, how much of the stuff is flammable? Because isn't Arkology in this big building?
Yeah, it's a big building where only maybe 60% of things are flammable. That's still a high percentage, but comparatively low to, say, our modern infrastructure we have, quote unquote modern, where it's, mostly wood and plastic, which is highly flammable.
Yeah, so if you use more metal...
It's all steel, the structure.
Yeah, so if more metal and concrete, it'll be... I mean, both of those are not flammable. And
No, that'll be the outer casing, and then the inner workings would still be things like metal, and there would be wood here and there, but it would also have, I would suggest, uh, not the most thick, but thin concrete walls for easier subdivision.
And did you know, like, there's cheaper concrete that's like way stronger than the current concrete? That's, like you can make really strong, really cheap concrete. It's crazy. Like 5 times stronger than current normal concrete, and like half the price.
Let's go.
See.
Like, you really want to look into like the new materials and the qualities. Like, there's also super materials, but like, one of them. Let's see, what was it called? It was carbon. This carbon layering method to make this metal. It's like graphene, and it's like super strong, super conductive, but like also super light. But it is kind of a little bit expensive to make it currently because we don't have those production lines up yet. But that is one of the easier to make super materials. Also, I wouldn't say it's a super material, but it is still in the ballpark of like a super material. Like, there's some way crazier materials out there. It is super crazy. Like the stuff that I've read about.
Aren't like
it's
carbon
magic.
nanotubes like the highest level of material science possible in the universe or something like that?
Supposedly, but they've actually they've entwined energy structures in like this copper wire, and they made it self-repairing, and like they put a laser beam on it, and they made it conduct like 1,000 times faster. Like, this was one of the super materials. It wasn't, I don't think it was exactly copper, but it was like something like that, and they like did electron threading or something weird. But yeah, that was crazy. Like, because not only did it repair itself, but it made itself better than it was before. Like, if it got damaged, or it just, if it like the acid burn thing that it recovered from, that one it didn't get better from, as far as I know. Like, that just was like static. But the laser one made it like way more conductive. I think so. It absorbed some of the properties of the thing that damaged it.
Hello, YouTube.
Right?
What are you guys doing?
Doing a campaign video for the Hexarchy.
A campaign video for who?
Arkology.
Arkology.
Me.
I've been doing that since last year. Is there any way I could help you? Luna!
Do you have any questions for me on my campaign? I've already delineated that I'm going to be pushing writing in more sustainability into the laws, if not the Constitution itself, writing different ways of the Arkology not only sustaining itself into it, but also adding the fire code, medical code, and if need be, police enforcement code and how they're funded. I'm also going to be adding in, hopefully bringing in a new person to help focus on waste retrieval and management, shall we call it? Sewage specifically, and water delivery.
If you're going into that, you might want to look into the history of like laws and law enforcement and how the intersection happens, and corruption and the moral decay of the society. So
yeah, I know.
If you're choosing the people with the best morals, then they come in and then they have kids, and the kids, if they keep the morals, they stay. If they lose those morals, if they're like not, then they get kicked out. But the other side of it would be, like about 100 years back, there were like 110 years ago, there were like no drug laws, and we didn't have a drug problem because of that. Like,
drugs are illegal.
Yeah, so before drugs were illegal, we had very small police forces because we didn't need large police forces because there wasn't drug, like, this wasn't a source of revenue for the government. This wasn't causing issues, you know.
Have you ever
So
looked into the cannabis trade, the hemp trade?
yes, that was all because of the cotton and paper industry competing with hemp and destroying it essentially.
Were they trying to legalize that crop so people wouldn't? Mommy. Oh yeah, hold on.
Yeah, so with the whole hemp thing, that was crony capitalism, which means the government got involved. They got paid by bad businessmen, and they monopolized the paper and cotton, like clothes industries, because hemp could have been used for paper very cheaply, very easily, much more effectively than wood.
Yep.
And cotton clothes, and
Yep.
you know, could have been hemp clothes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like hemp rope. There was all this stuff.
Yep.
Actually, the
And I was
Constitution of the
talking
United
about
States of
that
America is
earlier.
written on hemp paper.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And didn't George Washington say, cultivate the Indian hemp? Hmm.
He could have. I don't know.
No, he did. He in fact said that.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
I love that. Like George
Yeah.
Washington's a cool guy.
So wait, let's
Like, he
stick
was
back
with
to
it.
it. Yeah, part of my campaign is I'd also suggest people read Gentleman's Handbook and Manual of Etiquette and Politeness, or something like that. Handbook of Etiquette and Manual of Politeness, or something. Yeah, Gentleman's that.
I'm assuming it was went under the code and conduct and honor back then, and like you
George
should decide you don't shoot at the person.
George Washington suggested everybody read it, so maybe, but it's also like how you conduct yourself in generality in different circumstances and ways.
Interesting.
Especially the out and about the town sections. Anytime where you're outside of your own element is really, really good sections, I think. But more back to the campaigning side of things, what would we want to try to know about me, or do you have any questions for me? I hate to ask.
Me or time traveler?
Both.
Okay. Well, I was mostly just trying to share some information that people might want to be aware of, like police forces, even for huge cities like New York. It was less than 100 people for,
Yeah.
a huge number of people, and yeah. So that was a thing. Like it wasn't like they didn't need large police forces because of the whole lack of drugs, or lack of drug laws, I should say.
Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, I know where all that came from and engineered into. Yeah, there was still a fair bit of violence here or there, but yeah. So.
Also, are you guys gonna have like, is there gonna be like a voting system, or is there gonna be like a test for if you can vote, or a test to enter?
Voting system, and you register. Go take it away, Travel.
We have it up and running already at Arkology.org. The whole thing's vibe coded.
Okay. And
we have a
is it
very
like
interesting and unique election system.
But are you gonna have a test to this, like, if somebody fails the test, they can't vote, and if somebody passes the test, they can? Or
We have an immigration interview that people are supposed to go through. So you have to have like an interview process, and then we flag you yes or no how you do an interview.
okay. And you can't. So, like, what if there's like the kid of somebody that's a citizen? Is the kid automatically a citizen, or they have to go the same process?
Yeah, I think that's fair. They would have to be, because you don't want to break up a family.
Right.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, people.
Unless they commit a very serious crime.
That's another ballpark. That's another ballywick. That's a whole nother ball of worms.
Well, but also if they fail to pass the entry test, whatever that test might be.
It's just an interview. It's just they're open-ended questions. We already have the interview questions written down.
I'd suggest
So-
a psych eval in an exam. I might code that into the law.
Basically what it is. Yeah, it's basically what it is.
So what if someone can't read? Would you let them join?
Probably not.
Okay, because I wouldn't let
Yeah.
someone join if they can't read either. I'd be like, "What are you even doing
Yeah.
here? How did you find this place?"
Right.
Like,
If they have a criminal record, it depends how long ago and like what time it was.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Any
I
other
mean-
questions? Because we've been going on for an hour, and I need to keep this snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm out of questions for now.
Okay.
I just was thinking of some funny ones about the whole.
Yeah, if you got a joke
Entry
question, now's the time.
I'm out. I
No
just
joke.
did mine.
What was the question?
Oh, it was just the like if they can't read and
Oh.
like some basic stuff.
Well, what about for me? Do you have any joke questions for me and what I'll try to do?
Do you have any focus on the artistic council? Because
Like,
we're going to be appointing that too.
Like, is there a farm inside Arkology, or how do you guys get food?
That is exactly what I'll be trying to focus on, and I'll be trying to encode into the Arkology laws. And I'll be specifically after making sure that the medical, fire response, and laws enforcement infrastructure are designed, that then the subsistence infrastructure is then designed and easily implementable. Hey, we can hear you. Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap up my thing, and then I hope you're okay.
Ask you. Oh, okay, bye.
What was your question?
Will
You didn't
there
ask me a
be
question. You were
experimental?
trying to talk while I was talking and wrapping up answering a thing. Kind of rude.
Will there be experimental sections for the Arkology where they can do experiments and, like, if they work out, like implement them other places, or if they work better than this other section, then you change it up a little bit, and
Yeah, the whole thing's an experiment.
No, yeah, but like, will there be like sections that are kind of this is works for this area, and we're gonna keep it that way until we get a better thing, and then you have this experimental section that might be worse, might be better. You find out, and you do things, and then you keep on improving. Or
Yeah. So ideally the system is a city state.
Mhm.
So each city is sovereign.
Okay, how big? How many people would be in the city state in each city state?
144,000.
That's a lot of people, but I do understand why the number.
Up to, yeah. My budget, my example budget is 25,000. So a lot of people.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been to festivals with like 1,500 people, and it feels like a fully functional town. So
Yeah,
we could probably get by with like as little as 50 people. Like actually like get something meaningful going.
Yeah, no, like you could even do like just with. Well, so the thing is, like, really healthy communities tend to be like 150 at most people.
Yeah.
And those are just because everyone knows each other, and that's a thriving community. But then you also don't want to have too much inbreeding as well. So you'd have like interconnections between different communities and whatever. But
I'd suggest multiple communities in Arkologies as well. They would all be intertwined into one, but I'm sure each one would want to be sort of like a guild piece of the thing, like an organelle piece.
yeah, another thing to be aware of is gangs pop up when they feel like the local law enforcement isn't really theirs, and or doesn't have the power or authority to do what they're supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
and you really want to maintain the authority, the discipline.
Yes.
And if gangs do pop up, you will have to like
Immediately.
destroy them.
Maybe not
'Cause,
destroy them, but at least take care of and convince them. And if they cannot be convinced, then unfortunately isolated and or removed from the society.
A gang is a gang because they're violent and they're doing some bad things,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
Not with the
Yeah.
applicants that we're having, hopefully.
But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it pops up every once in a while in, like, the second generation. Like, you know, and kids do some crazy things. So, you know, teenagers.
Yes, they do.
What's up, Aang? The last airbender.
Just woke up.
I'm just wrapping up my campaign video for running for Hexarchy Arkology. I'm running on the sustainability and changing stuff to make sure we have all the infrastructure properly platformed. What questions do you have for me? It's okay if you don't have. It's good to see you, my friend.
Also, will you be able to like have them be flying cities, like anti-grav and
No.
flying in the sky?
We have the city plan already.
That's my final evolution for my version of the city.
Right? That would be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? We'll make an art piece with hovering magnets and stuff.
I'll have it set up
I mean,
in Ohio.
The best
I
I
can
can
wait
do.
for the real anti-grav tech,
Mhm.
you know?
Oh, it's here. We just need to use
We
it.
have-
It's
Yeah.
sound-based.
But the stuff we have access to, you know?
Yeah, we just need to find the right sound, and it will literally levitate whatever material we need to cymatize into levitate.
That is true, but can the levitation be done inside the device itself? Like, are you able to... I guess it might. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. They figured out
Yeah,
some things way back when.
I could send you the engineering that we've done for the structure. It's pretty interesting, and there would be more of like a 5 or 10 year plan.
Cool. Marcy, you had some questions?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm allowed to.
I've
No,
been
you're
waiting
can't
for you to
ask any
ask, so what are you going on about? What's your question?
Honestly, every time I try to ask you a question, every time you say, does anybody have questions? Bye.
You left and then
Okay.
came back in the middle of me answering a different question. And then when you came in, literally, what's wrong with you?
Oh, it's
She
okay.
left.
Just
I know she
she does that. It's expected, I guess.
It's irritating. She should
No,
know
I know.
better by now.
Well, that's why I say it's Marcy.
No, she's not allowed to ask questions. How's that?
Sorry.
She
shouldn't laugh.
wants to play that way. I'll play that way. I don't like it, but you know.
Okay, so also, I'm guessing they're built to like withstand crazy catastrophes. It's part of the interesting
Like
engineering.
earthquakes and
That's
hurricanes?
the cool. Go ahead.
We'll have to talk to an engineering firm about that.
But that's the idea. And I guess that's it. This has been my campaign video. This has been traveling. Now Zach recently, Meridian was here, and then myself, ChrisMartin424, and Aang Vibes. And that's it for today, unless somebody else has one last thing. Just a quick blurb sentence.
Arkology.org, election tomorrow. Sign up.
Arkology.org, election tomorrow. Sign up. Zach, real quick, 2 seconds.